Dream Warriors, welcome! Day 20 of the 31 Days of Dread. We are right here. It's October 20. It is day 20. And this is one of our through lines. We're doing the Universal Monsters, just the original core movies, with a little bit extra. We'll be doing The Bride of Frankenstein. And that's all because someone subscribed to Stars on my Amazon Prime. Some of my family and friends have access to it. Someone subscribed to it. But all the original Universal horror movies are available on Stars right now. So I'm going through everything that they have. I'm looking so forward to talking to you about this movie because the Mummy, and I would say it like the Mummy franchise. And I classify it as a franchise because nearly every major iteration of this movie has had the elements that they created for a movie. And it's a original Universal story, meaning it's not from a book, unlike Frankenstein and Dracula. Mummy is their premier original monster. So let's rock and roll. You already hear that music. We got those creepy sounds creeping in. Let's rock and roll. Yeah, so you can tell there is an obvious excitement that I have for these Mummy movies, and it just escalated as I watched this film. And the reasoning for that is because I love seeing what creators do with ideas. I love to see what they do with properties, and it's just, look, I'm going off the tip of my brain here, but it's a little bit weird because you would think that I would almost love everything DC Comics is doing right now and a lot of the stuff Marvel's doing, because everyone's like alternate universe, alternate version of characters crazy. And, but I'm not, though, because they're comics. And I view a linear continuity in comics with tangents of potential futures and alternate realities for the characters as being side non-continuity driven stories, and stories that don't get a lot of focus, meaning that they don't get their own titles. They might be a miniseries, a one-shot, or less. But with that being said, what they're doing with the Mummy, I think it's incredible. Look, we're going to get right back to it. But I literally nearly watched the Tom Cruise Mummy as soon as I was done this, because I didn't realize how much of this movie made in 1932, how much of the story was harvested for the Stephen Sommers Mummy movies, part one, Mummy Returns, and the Tom Cruise Mummy. Now there's a third one. It's the Mummy's Hand, made in 1940. It's available on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $4. You can buy it for $3. It's considered a reimagining, and we'll just go through the description on Amazon real quick. In this frightening thriller masterpiece, an expedition of American archaeologists travels to Egypt in search of a undiscovered tomb by Princess Annika. Now that actually sounds a little bit like the Tom Cruise Mummy, cause in the Stephen Sommers movie, it's almost like just to simplify it, they resurrect Imhotep. Okay, so they bring back Imhotep in the Sommers, and then they focus on Annika in the Tom Cruise. And these are our two characters. They're almost like, they're the avatars. They're like the drivers of destiny in all of these movies, and it's amazing. Like this is Universal's premier franchise when it comes to monsters. I get it. There's Frankenstein and there's Dracula. That's like your two-headed dragon. But this is theirs. This is what they created back in 1932. That still carries on today. But look, real quick, let's do some plugs. Let's talk about me. I'm Peter A. DeLuca your host, your boy, your bro that is walking you through the 31 days of dread. Okay, this is a Dream Warriors annual podcast event where we do one horror movie a year, a day for the month of October in celebration of Halloween. That kind of should be the, I should have opened the post intro with that, but I'm so excited to discuss this movie. I am blue. And look, AKAPAD, Twitter, Snapchat. On Snapchat, I do one theme a day, and sometimes it's creative tips, sometimes it's cooking, sometimes it's just life advice, and sometimes it's just goofy stuff with me in Dallas at Diamond Dallas Cat on Instagram, and you can find me at AKAPad13 on Instagram and Facebook, and then always search AKAPad on YouTube because we do videos also. We do all kinds of things. I'm amongst a content push and a creation outpour to kind of hopefully build somewhat of a online audience because I don't know, I like doing things. I think I'm good at them, and I have a lot of stuff to say, and I have a lot of opinions, as anyone that follows me on here. And look, side note, thank you for the surge. And that's what day 1 of the 31 Days of Dread was the purge, and at day 20 we're calling this the surge because my analytics are just on fire. I have new listeners all around the U.S. and coast to coast, meaning that we're going overseas, and I have some overseas people, and I've noticed Guten Tag. I just made that word up, but I seem to have a run of listeners in Germany. So thank you. There you go, guys. I really love you. You guys did a great job with all of it. And that's a platitude, but I'm just being goofy. But yeah, so getting back to this movie. I'm not going to go too crazy with directors and actors and all these other things. Because sometimes I like to talk about exactly what a movie is, what it says, and maybe what the impact is, or what the takeaway should be, or a way to consider a digestion. And look, I just been on the run. I don't know what the heck happened, but YouTube seemed to have blown up on Van Helsing content, or maybe it populated because I searched for it. And it just seems like a lot of YouTubers are all about Van Helsing all of a sudden, and that movie continuously gets trashed. Which it baffles the heck out of me because I don't understand if you can have a gravitas towards something like Starship Troopers, Independence Day, and that becomes immediately okay, but then you get serious about what is in front of you for Van Helsing. I feel like you're doing yourself as an audience member a huge disservice. I just feel like maybe you should take a step back and know what's in front of you. And when the discussion and the argument for Van Helsing, that's where it comes in. I believe that if we can appreciate movies like Van Helsing for everything that they are and are not, it makes the collective community a better. You're a better film goer. Okay, you're a better audience member. You're more receptive to the intent of the creator, and in this, it's Stephen Sommers. So when I'm watching The Mummy, I was completely intrigued. Intrigued, and there's a anxiety that flows through this movie, and it still comes through after all these years because we're dealing with primal instinct. We're dealing with our DNA when it comes to horror. See, the best horror works because it's already tapping into what we're afraid of. It's already tapping into the unknown. And if there's a driving force in our lives, it is truly the unknown. And to kind of extrapolate that real quick, let me tell you. Look, the 31 Days of Dread is grinding. It's really grinding when I butt it up against and I run parallel with it. with Inktober available, you can see my progress on drawings, what I'm doing for Inktober, while I'm working on my new comic book too. On AKAPAD 13 on Instagram, and there's like, look, I talked about this before. There's a level of stress that comes through the 31 Days of Dread. It's not easy when I run side by side with the Inktober. But look, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. The point I'm getting at though is that there's things that like we should embrace. Okay, and I don't want us to like stray away from like even some of these horror movies and some of the elements in them, because they tap into just essential fears that we have, and it doesn't even mean the best ones do it. I think even some of the ones you could argue that are poor still do it. They still trigger these like invisible instincts that we have, that we're born with, and that's something we should never run away from. I think that's why it's one of the reasons why the horror genre is so powerful, because it is the one that reminds us that we are human, that we are frail, and we do not go on forever, that our time here is it. And just talking to you, look, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've had multiple invites to do stuff last night. People wanted to do stuff with me today, and I told everyone no, because I'm locked into the 31 Days of Dread. I'm locked into what I'm doing here, and I'm going to go on the run. I'm trying to complete a chunk of days. I'm trying to record forward, only to open me up for the last day of the 31 Day of Dread. I'll tease that. And for me to catch up on drawing and work, and I picked up a new freelance client yesterday, so it's all of this, okay. But the point I'm getting at though, it's like like the instinct to commit, the instinct to have something of your own, the instinct to realize that you are not here forever. So you have to make these days and these moments and the work you choose to do last. And the only way you do that is by doing good work. Not doing work, period, and throwing it up on the web and saying, oh, that's my legacy. No, the legacy is also to do good work. And there's a few people ever in the history of all of it that have maintained high-level good work for their entire lifespan. I'm constantly, Peter A. DeLuca, a.k.a. Pad, your boy, constantly fighting and struggling to do good work. And you can call it a obsession, you can call it focused, you can call it crazy. But this is also why people do refer to me as crazy and a little bit insane. Do they have the most fun around me? Do they have the time of their lives around me? 100%. This is yeah. They do. Okay. Do I freak them the F out? I certainly do. But yeah, so getting to this, okay, so part of the revelation process with the Mummy was when I realized that we're telling the same story that I was so familiar with the Stephen Sommers movie. And it's no secret, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns are two of my favorite movies. I love those movies. It's no secret that I fully support even Stephen Sommers and his future efforts. And I think what we're going to do in the next 2 days, of the 31 Days of Dread might be Stephen Sommers movies. I will tease those. I apologize if he isn't your cup of tea, but listen to those episodes when I do them, and go back and watch those movies or find them if you're not familiar with them. I'll tell you how I watch them, so hopefully you can echo it. But yeah, so why are the universal monsters important? Why are they a focal point when it comes to cinephiles and the film going experience? It's not just the horror and the DNA they tap into. Okay, it is also the execution. These are amazingly well made movies. There's not a scene in any of them between the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, and Dracula that I have seen that's wasted. Okay, these movies are nearly plays. They're nearly stage plays with the limited characters. Now, you might be like, Pete, what are you talking about? Look, if you go through the beginning of this movie, which I completely loved, okay, all the characters fit on one screen. They fit on one frame, okay? Boom, okay? The stage is set. This movie has a model. It's like this Egyptian model of the pyramids, and it rotates. It's almost like on the Lazy Susan to reveal the title. I thought that was so freaking cool. I would love to do that for like my YouTube channel and have it, and it says like AKAPAD. I think that would just be the funniest thing ever. But yeah, even like the opening of this movie has a description and a definition of archaeology that is far better than I've seen in any movie, including Indiana Jones and and National Treasure. Sorry, Nick Cage. Yeah, and it pulls you in. It pulls you in because you know you kind of know where it's going to go. You know they're going to open something they're not supposed to. Again, this is a trope we've seen time and time again. A lot of the Creature from the Black Lagoon tropes were created in the Creature in the Black Lagoon. And actually, that's going to get linked to our next movie on day 21. I'm so excited for day 21, 22, and 23. I'm literally like foaming at the mouth to like talk about those movies with you. I can't wait. I'm going to tease day 21 at the while we're wrapping up here. But so this whole like setup, okay, it's not anything by this point, okay, as a film goer, it's nothing we haven't seen before in all forms. I'm talking kids cartoons, I'm talking primetime television, I'm talking Netflix, on and on. This whole, hey, here's something, there's a warning, we're going to open it, okay? It's Pandora's box. Again, it goes into our DNA. Now, this movie puts us in the character. One of the archaeologists that kind of resurrects Imhotep, who's played by Boris Karloff. I believe this Boris Karloff is Boris Karloff at the absolute best. Okay, when the mummy resurrects, okay, the mummy doesn't kill him. See, I was expecting the mummy to kill him. It doesn't. Okay, this movie actually doesn't have. If I recall, I don't think it has any deaths at all. Huge surprise. So, and the mummy steals a scroll. The scroll is essentially like we'll call it from the Book of the Dead. It's a resurrection scroll, and the mummy leaves. Now, the next time we see the mummy, he's almost in human form. Okay, he is Boris Karloff, and the movie dissects his relationship with his love. His love that died, and he was mummified alive, trying to resurrect her, and the Egyptian Empire saw it as a disgrace of what he was trying to do, so they made a example out of him. Okay, now that's amazing because that's nearly exactly how it unfolds in the 1999 Stephen Sommers The Mummy. And now, like, the way that they extrapolate that in that movie is pure 90s. It's perfect. It's a perfect extension of that. So now we have. Let me just go to her name real quick because some of the names do get me. Annika. Okay, so Annika, her spirit almost gets resurrected. And now Imhotep and Annika have to reunite. Okay, so this is the hook of the mummy story. Okay, it's Imhotep and Annika reuniting. Now Imhotep he's the one with the power. He's the one that knows how to do it. And there's such an interesting idea to this movie. Okay, is that these people are dealing with, like, the people around them, the humans around them are dealing with fantastic ideas. They're dealing with things out of their scope and understanding. So the entire cast is struggling. All these other characters are struggling with the reality of what's happening, and this is evident in the archaeologist who resurrects Imhotep, because the scene where the mummy leaves the tomb, this guy laughs. He laughs hysterically. He completely, like, almost like has a nervous breakdown, and at that point, they're just believing that the mummy was stolen. Okay, like that's what that's what they formed in their heads. That's how they're explaining it. Okay, which again is very common. We see that in things today. A lot of things like maybe like hit the news cycle. Something traumatic creates something different. Something traumatic can distort your perception, your receptors for reality. So this is kind of what happens, and then slowly it emerges that it's Imhotep, and Imhotep is back, and Imhotep has, like, infected the world. Okay, we'll call it infected the world. So he finds Annika's soul. Now Annika is a girl, and she has the soul of this Egyptian queen or princess in her. She has two people in her at the same time. So, and the character hit this point that it's so advanced for a movie in 1932. But again, we're just talking stories, and these people are just writing stories, and we can do anything. But she, meaning that writing stories really hasn't changed, and that's really what is evident in The Mummy, meaning that there's so much of it on paper. Okay. But she struggles. She struggles with the reality of what's happening. Meaning, even Annika, may not want the new form. The new form wants to live and doesn't want to give up her body. And there's this awesome struggle. There's this moment at the end of the movie that leads to the death of the mummy, the destruction of the mummy. And like the gods almost like coming back to repay, to settle the score almost, and it's incredible, okay, and easily, The Mummy is Universal's premier monster franchise from this original story alone. Now I still have The Invisible Man to watch, and look, that's another crazy awesome concept. I love the concept. I really want to see what happens in that movie, but The Mummy though wasn't written anywhere. The other Universal monster movies outside of Creature from the Black Lagoon, the stories existed elsewhere, and you can kind of if you know that story, you can kind of see where these movies are going to go. But this is their crown jewel, and I understand now why they went to The Mummy as phase 1, part 1 of the Dark Universe, which is Universal's proposed giant monster universe. That they wanted to make happen. That it may or may not happen right now. Which is sad. But I really do wish, pun intended, Universal Studios will resurrect, or I'll say Comcast. Comcast needs to resurrect the Dark Universe. But look, with that being said, everyone, thank you for joining me. Find all kinds of ways to support me at AKAPAD.com. You can donate, you can purchase services on Etsy. Need a website, need a logo design, need whatever you need, it's on Etsy. I'll hook you up because I'm your boy, and I would love to work with you. But look, have a great day, everyone. And I don't know, I did follow my own advice. I was eating sour cheddar Pringles the other day, and I hate sour cream. And so I did follow my own advice. So one of my homework assignments was to find some cheap chips that you think you won't like and try them. And I did follow my advice, and they were good. I ate like a little stack of them, and But look, I love you all. Rock and roll. Happy Saturday. TGI Saturday. It's such a cloudy day right now too in Philly. But look, we're going to rock and roll. We're going to get through it. day 21. It's going to be Deep Rising, directed by Steven Sommers, written by Steven Sommers, and let me tell you, this movie is a holy crap. Okay, blew my mind. It was long on my list. But until then, until Sunday, I'll talk to you.